Hi everyone, before I start this video, I wanted to explain the title screen for this video. So I'm recording this on Monday night. So for me, as I'm recording this, yesterday was the Super Bowl. And tonight, Jenica and I went out to go for a drive, talk about things. And we saw a house that was burning down. And here's another video of it. And it was just it stood out so much. It was just out in the country. And you can see fire trucks and stuff here, emergency responders. And it was just so bizarre to have this happen the day after the Super Bowl and everything that we talked about with the Super Bowl, everything that it could potentially symbolize. And I just wanted to share it with you. Maybe it's a bad idea. Maybe some of you are going to, downplay it. But for those of you that think the way that I do, it's just a really interesting thing that happened to us tonight. It reminds me back to the day that the war started. Again, Jenica and I were doing, well, in that case, I think we were running some errands, and I wanted to get home soon and not take too long. And I was going to go like a quicker route, but I had, I think, a little prompting to go the longer route and just enjoy the drive. And that morning on October 7th, I woke up and there was like some alerts on my phone about rockets going off in Israel and in Gaza. And it didn't really catch my attention too much. But then I started getting messages from people as we were driving. And I was like, whoa, what is going on? I'm going to have to check this out when I get home. So as we took this alternate route, and I shared this the day that it happened, we were driving home and we saw something coming out of the sky and had no idea what it was. It was not an airplane. It was just like coming down. And we saw that it landed in a field. And so I parked the car once we got to where we thought it was to go check it out. And it was a rocket. Somebody was firing off like a hobby rocket and had a parachute and stuff. And so, but at first I had no idea what it was that landed. It looked so like weird. And so I walked over there and this is what I found. And then it wasn't too long till the guy came and explained, oh yeah, we were just like shooting rockets off. But there's never been a time in my life that I've seen this. This is the first time in my life that I've seen a hobby rocket come down like this with a parachute. And it was the morning that this was happening, October 7th. So I just wanted to share that with you. Just really interesting. I'm sure that you have your own personal things that happen, personal signs and happenings like this. But anyway, with that, let's move on to the video. Hi everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. My name is Jared. In this video, we're going to talk about a white rainbow that showed up in northern Israel. There's a new article from Israel 365. As I was doing my live stream after the Super Bowl, Peter Jeffries brought this up. He said, side note on Super Bowl, did you see the Israel 365 article about the colorless rainbow and it being a Jewish sign of the Messiah's return? And I hadn't, because it came out yesterday. And I did, we had state conference. By the way, I'm recording this Monday night. We had state conference and then later I watched the Super Bowl. So I wasn't checking news or anything like that, but this is when it came out. And, it caught my attention because I'm always interested whenever something unusual happens in Israel. Now, I always have to do this. It's always obligatory. Signs are in the eye of the beholder. It doesn't have to be magic. It doesn't have to be unexplainable. It doesn't have to break the rules of science, physics, chemistry, anything like that. All that matters is that something happens that sends a message to people that will receive it. The Lord speaks in many different ways. Sometimes he does it through people. Sometimes he does it through natural disasters. Sometimes he does it through wonders. And that's one phrase that keeps coming up, that always comes up in the scriptures, signs and wonders. And this is a wonder. It doesn't matter if it's happened other times. The fact of the matter is it's getting their attention. Israel 365. And interestingly, also Haaretz, which is like a more mainstream news outlet out of Israel. And they're very leftist. I'm kind of surprised to see an article like this in Haaretz. If anything, I would expect it to show up in Jerusalem Post, because sometimes Jerusalem Post will cover things like this, but I don't think I've ever seen a Haaretz cover something like this. They titled their article "Ultra Rare White Rainbow Spotted in Northern Israel." And just so you know, I you know, preparing this video, I've realized I need to do a new spreadsheet just for signs in Israel. I don't think I have that yet. I have kind of like a similar spreadsheet where I cover things that have happened in Israel that are things preparing for the third temple. All right, I created this just like a week or two ago, did a video about it, but I think I need, excuse me, I think I need to do a new one that contains that just lists all the Israel specific signs. I have one for the church. I think it's under signs, church specific, and we have a lot of church specific signs. So you can check all these out on my spreadsheet. There, there's all the tabs down here. You can also navigate it like this at the bottom left. Click on this, and you can see all the spreadsheets. You can access this for free. The link for it is in the description box of every video, and you can come and look at this without having to rely on me making videos. But I am going to make a new spreadsheet because, I did this video back in August called Unexplained Mist Rises from the Temple Mount and Other Strange Happenings, which essentially went through all the different strange happenings that I was aware of at the time. I have all the links for those articles in that video. I'll put the link for this video in the description below in case you missed it. But I went over things like this one, unusually bright meteor seen over Israel, as some report hearing blast, and that was very unusual. This happened April 15th, 2023. So just 6 months before the war started. And over northern Israel. Northern Israel, that's where the Valley of Megiddo is and where the Battle of Armageddon is supposed to take place. So when you have an ultra rare daytime meteor that leaves a blast or a boom that can be heard on the ground, it's probably not a good sign. 6 months later, the war started. We had this. This is not, excuse me, this is not so much Israel specific, but it's over there in the Middle East, just right north of Israel. We're now like 1 year since this happened, where the earthquake in Turkey caused this Mount of Olives in Turkey to split into two, something that we expect to see soon in Jerusalem when Christ comes. And then there's all sorts of things. This stone that fell down the day after Tisha B'Av, which there's all sorts of implications to that, because anyway, I'm not going to go over that. Foxes seen at the Temple Mount. I've done videos about that. This is also very rare. There's only 3 times that I know that it's happened. Here's the video of the mist at the Temple Mount. So this is the raw footage. I'll put a link for this in the description box below. It's kind of unbelievable when you watch it. And just like other things. So this is just the latest one. White rainbow spotted in North Israel. Again, maybe not a good sign being in North Israel. I think it would be a sign anyway, regardless of where it showed up. But North Israel, it just makes me think about this meteor that happened. So, okay, so let's see what my friend Adam Eliyahu Berkowitz has to say about this. I've interviewed him before. I've driven a lot of traffic to their site, and that's how they got in contact with me. So they love me, and I love them. By the way, I'm supporting a bunch of charities for them. You can find those in the description box below. There's also a book that you can buy called 75 Words in Hebrew. So make sure to check that out. All right, so he says, a white rainbow composed of mist was spotted in northern Israel on Friday by Nadav Yisraeli, an ornithologist at the Society for the Protection of Nature. And here it is. And you can find this on Facebook. Okay. It's kind of hard to see right here, but you can kind of make it out. All right, let's continue reading. As the name suggests, this is phenomenon. Oh my gosh. As the name suggests, this is phenomenon, I think there's a typo here, is very similar to the colorful rainbow we normally see, but is formed in fog rather than rain. Okay, so fog rather than rain. Because of the very small size of the water droplets in the fog, less than 0.05 millimeters, the colors in such a rainbow are very weak, and you can see mainly the color white with a little red on the outside and a little blue on the inside. I'm going to show you some other examples of these type of rainbows. Another name for them is fog bows, so we'll look at that. In a normal rainbow, the water drops break the light, or break, quote unquote, the light into its colors, and each color is perceived at a slightly different angle. In a rainbow that appears in fog, the water droplet or the water drops are small and close to each other, so the colors, quote unquote, mix again and are perceived as white. This is also what happens normally in clouds, which is why they are perceived as white. So that's kind of interesting. Many people, upon seeing the rare phenomena, were reminded of a section in the Zohar. Again, this is from Jewish mysticism called Kabbalah. It's it's basically the core text of Kabbalah. Continuing, that differentiates between a dark colored rainbow and a light colored or light uncolored rainbow. All right, so the Zohar talks about it. The Zohar writes that a rainbow in dark colors reminds us that God made a covenant in the time of Noah, promising not to bring a flood to the world. A colored rainbow should awaken us to repentance, that the gods of God's covenant in the days of Noah were bound by the law of the 16th century. But according to the Zohar, a rainbow of bright colors, or entirely white, marks the imminent arrival of the Messiah. It is a reminder of the covenant of the biblical patriarchs and God's promise to return the people of Israel to the land of Israel. When God does so, he will adorn the people of Israel with all the decorations of a bride. Now you might be asking, well, what does it matter if that's what the Zohar says? That's not our scripture. We don't accept it, and we're a different religion from the Jews. And that's true. But the Lord still remembers his covenant people. They are part of the house of Israel. And yes, they're currently apostate, but he remembers them. They're still children of the covenant, and he's going to speak to them in a way that they understand. Okay? They look at this, you can see it's made these two newspapers or websites, Israel 365 News and, unbelievably, Haaretz. So it's caught people's attention. That's all that you need. That's all that the Lord needs. If this puts in your mind, if it makes you feel a sense of awe and wonder, and it makes you think about the divine, it makes you think about the last days, then mission accomplished. It doesn't matter if it's this, it doesn't matter if it's the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter if it's something that your Fred said at lunch the other day. There's many different methods through which the Lord can speak. And usually the larger the audience, probably the more potent the sign is. So if they feel that this indicates that Messiah is coming, I think it's the Lord preparing them for the second coming. They're expecting Messiah the first time. They're actually going to get him the second time and recognize who he is when he comes. But it doesn't matter. He's giving them a sign, I believe, that is helping to condition them for the second coming. Now, I looked this up a little bit further. There's a Wikipedia article about it, Fogbow. It doesn't really say anything special about it. Just it explains what Adam already explained in the article. Has different names, whatever. I did a search. Excuse me. Here's another one from the Met Office of the UK. They explain it here. Nothing too special. I looked up news articles, and there's a few other locations that this has showed up recently. So, for example, this article is from December 28th, 2023, and there was one in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, which is near Boston. It's in Massachusetts, not too far from Boston. This is where I went on my honeymoon, by the way. It was really fun. So back in December, in Cape Cod. Here we are, Newsweek, August of last year. Rare white rainbow spotted over world's largest freshwater lake in Siberia. So there it is. And you can kind of make out the red on the outside and the blue on the inside. You can kind of do it here too in the Cape Cod one. Let's see, this is in the UK. Rare white rainbow spotted in UK. Stunning images go viral. What is it? And then they just explain it. And there's not a lot to talk about. It's pretty straightforward. But it's rare. And when it happens in a place like Israel, especially in a year like this, where we have this war going on, and there's all these things to indicate that the second coming is soon, I'm going to pay attention to it. And I think that you should too. And whenever I'm able to put together, all the stuff and make a spreadsheet, I'll probably do another video going over all the things, and we'll start tracking them a little bit better. So yeah, pretty neat. Again, I just want to say again, if you're able to, I would ask you to support Israel 365 with the various charities that they're running. And then if you want that book, you can purchase it. They sent me a copy, and it's nice to have. But I have a good relationship with them. I really like them. They're the ones that set me up with Rabbi Gerfine, and it's just awesome. I love what's going on with them. So if you can, please support them. Okay, well, that's going to be it for this one. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. Like this video if you liked it. Leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also, make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.